And this year we are going to go to Egypt for the World Finals. And other than that, I was also an intern at Google, and I have also been extended the full-time offer by Google. And most possibly, I would be joining Google next year. So you all know that I have achieved a lot of things in the field of competitive programming. But what was my journey? Like, what should be the journey of a person to crack all these achievements, to have all these achievements? So I would start off by letting you know how it all started. I just joined the college in the first year, and I had no experience in coding, much like everyone. So I was a bit interested in problem solving and stuff. Like, I was interested in maths, I was interested in problem solving, and I came to know about coding, competitive programming through Programming Club. There was a contest conducted by the Programming Club, and after giving that contest, I felt that it is something of my interest. It did intrigue my interest, and after that I tried to learn some coding. I tried learning C++, as people do for competitive programming. A suggestion to all, if you want to start competitive programming, you can start learning C++ and just start solving basic problems. That's what I did in the beginning, and after that I was a bit competitive also. Like, in the world of competitive programming, as the name suggests, competitive. The more you get competitive, the more is the urge to get better. So my motivation was getting competitive. So I was competitive that I have to get on top. Like, I have to be the number one in the college. The motivation might be different for different people. All of us are not competitive. All of us don't like getting competitive. So what could be the motivation for you guys? Of course, you might know that due to CP, you can easily crack interviews. If you know CP, you can crack interviews of major companies. And if without CP, it is very difficult to crack companies for internship and even for placements. So CP is really important in order to crack the coding rounds of the companies. I would suggest that you should start doing CP in the beginning only, in order to crack the companies. And in off-campus companies, it's not just CP, it's development too. Like, you must have knowledge of development and competitive programming combined, and that's how you get into the companies. All the major companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all of these take people only if you have good skills in competitive programming and development. So if you are not motivated by the competition, this is the motivation for you to get into the major companies. So many people ask, what are the resources to learn CP? Like, where do you learn CP? So my main resource was USACO Guide, USACO.guide. It was a major resource for me to learn CP. Many people learn DSA, and many people have a doubt. What is DSA and what is CP? There is a major difference between CP and DSA, if you don't know. Many people only do DSA in order to prep for the companies. And I think that it is not wise to study only DSA to crack the companies these days, as the questions in the coding rounds are quite difficult. So CP and DSA have a major difference, that in CP, it intrigues your thinking skills. In DSA, it is more of learning. Through DSA, you learn various questions, various topics. That's okay. But CP is something which opens your mind, where you literally think of different approaches. To do DSA, people follow Lead Code, Geeks for Geeks platform like this. But for CP, you should follow Code Forces, Code Chef. And the major platform is Code Forces only. I suggest that everyone here should do Code Forces if you really want to get into big companies. And you might also do it on AdCoder. But Code Forces is a major platform. If you are just a beginner, just start by HackerRank or something, or CodeChef, and just keep that in mind, that you have to solve problems on Code Forces. And just start with learning basics. Start learning a basic language like C++ from YouTube, and after that you can just go on learning from the platforms, just solving the problems. The practice is the most important thing when it comes to CP. And the most important question here is ICPC. What is ICPC? So ICPC, the full form of ICPC is Inter-College Inter-College Programming Contest. So it is basically Olympics of competitive programming. Like ICPC happens all over the world. All the institutes participate in ICPC. They form the teams of three. And after forming the team, they solve a particular set of questions, and based of that, you qualify for the next round. The first round is an online round. After that, you qualify for the regionals round, and after getting a good rank in regionals, you can qualify for Asia West finals. And after that comes the glorious world finals that the people dream of. So ICPC is a good platform because it reflects good on your resume. Like a good rank in ICPC or even participating in ICPC regionals is really good for your career. It's really good for your resume. Many companies are literally attracted by the ranks of ICPC, and they shortlist your resume and even give you head start for the interviews if you have a good achievement in ICPC. And lastly, I would like to thank Prajwal for such awesome coordination and like making a great contest for you guys that is going to happen at 2 p.m. So, if anyone has any questions, can ask.
So we have a few questions.
Sure.
So what do you think is the most important thing that ICPC teaches?
The most important thing that ICPC teaches us is the teamwork. Because there are three people participating. Normally in competitive programming, you give the contest alone. It depends on your own knowledge. But in ICPC, there is a team of three. So it depends on your teammates a lot. It depends on the teamwork. It might happen that you all three are very good at competitive programming, but it might happen that all of you are good at the same topics. But there could be a team which has less skilled candidates than you, but they all know different topics. The other team would obviously would be better any day because they can cover a lot of questions. So it does matter that when preparing for ICPC, if you are at, you should focus on different topics in order to get a better rank. And also teamwork during the contest is also very important. Like you have to divide the questions because at a time in regionals, only one person can code. There are not three laptops for you. There is only one computer and one person can code at a time. So you have to select the questions accordingly. You have to divide the questions accordingly and have to write the code accordingly. So teamwork matters a lot during ICPC. So any other questions?
So what do you think is the major difference between AdCoder and CodeForces and which is more equivalent to ICPC?
The major difference between AdCoder and CodeForces is that in AdCoder the problems are related to DP a lot. Rather than CodeForces has a vast range of topics. AdCoder is the contests at AdCoder are much more difficult than CodeForces, and are focused on developing the skills on some major topics like dynamic programming itself. And I would say that CodeForces is more related to ICPC in order to preparing. But AdCoder can also help you develop some major skills in some topics.
One more doubt here.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Chinmay Joshi. I am in third year actually. My question is that I have been doing development for the first 2 years, and like, so how do I start CP right now to be at a good level?
I would suggest that if you don't have any knowledge of CP, you can start off with HackerRank or like CodeSafe and start solving some easy problems. And after that, you would know like how is your interest in competitive programming. Like it would give you a kickstart, and you might gain some confidence after that. And you can continue with CodeForces after that. I know it is quite difficult in the third year, but if you really have some motivation and you really have interest in competitive programming, you can do it.
Okay, thank you. Also, one that currently nowadays the solutions are also leaked. Plagiarism is increasing. So how can we cope up with that?
It's not your thing to cope up with that. Like if you are not doing that, that's good, and it doesn't matter if everybody else is doing, because it means that the rank you are getting, you are much better than that. If other people are plagiarizing, you should focus on yourself. You should focus on your skills. Don't worry about plagiarism. And talking about code chef, yeah, there is a lot of plagiarism, but I am telling you to focus on code courses where you won't find much plagiarism. Like there is, but there isn't much, and it helps you judge your skills better.
Hello, sir. So I keep giving contests like almost regularly, but my rating doesn't go up, like barely. So what can you suggest?
So, do you practice? Do you learn new topics?
Yes, sir.
What is your rating currently?
So currently it's like I just started, so 1200.
Okay. And how long before it was 1200 for the first 1200 for the first time?
So for the first time, I guess it's been almost 4 months or something, 3 to 4 months.
Okay. And what rating did you practice during this time?
So around like 1200 rating like those questions, 1200 to 1200, mostly that.
It won't help you increase the rating if you are only practicing 1200 rating problems. You have to go if you want to increase your rating, it is a well said term that practice x plus 300. So you should practice 1300, 1400, 1500 in order to increase the rating. You can't expect to increase the rating to increase if you are only practicing 1200. So try focusing on more difficult problems.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what are the topics that we need to cover to reach at a level like as expert?
I would say you can cover, if you see Sago Guide, you can cover till silver section. That would be enough. Like a bit of TP is required. Before that, binary search, a bit of number theory, bit manipulation, greedy. All these topics are necessary. Graphs might not be that much necessary, but little bit of TP is required. You can check Yusaku Guide, and till silver section you can solve, and then you can expect that you can reach expert.
Thank you, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
Good morning.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन एनकाउंटर करते हो तो बेसिकली आपका क्या फ्रेम ऑफ थॉट होता है कि तो आप उस चीज़ को कैसे डील करते हो? अगर ऐसे जनरल एक क्वेश्चन आए अगर हमारे पास तो उसे कैसे एनकाउंटर करना चाहिए ऑप्टिमली सॉल्व करने के लिए?
The most of the times the thing is intuition comes to your mind. Most of the times, and the intuition comes only because of the practice you have done till now. Like, of course, if you have done enough practice, you can see a question and think of the right approach. But yeah, it does happen that you are clueless a lot of times in the question. So the only thing you can do is think on that. Like, what could be the topic it is from? What could be the approach of this problem? Like, if a problem is difficult enough, 1 hour spending 1 hour is worth it. Like, you should spend at least 1 hour to think on the problem. It happens a lot of time. Like, after 10 minutes only you get an approach, right? You get an approach after 10 minutes. So if a problem is much more difficult. So if a problem is much more difficult, you can expect that you have to spend 1 hour on that problem in order to like get the approach. So try spending some time, or if you don't get the approach, look at the approach through editorial. And the more you practice, more the more quickly the approach would come to you, right?
I guess that's all for the question. We will come back to you guys.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I'm from Zaki Malik from first year. Sir, I want to ask how to start CPU. Point of start.
Like you want to know how to like just kickstart C.
Yes, sir.
I would suggest. Do you know C++?
No, sir, not that much.
Okay, so I would suggest first of all go through a C++ tutorial. Try to learn the language. After that, you can go to HackerRank, solves a few problems like 5 to 7 problems. Try solving 5 to 7 easy problems, and after that you might gain some confidence. Even you can watch the basic tutorials and try to solve the most basic problems, like printing. First of all, like printing 1 to n, something like that. Try doing that. Try practicing that. After that, try solving some better mathematical problems that are given in HackerRank, like finding the square root or something like that. You can you should basically focus on the easier problems currently. And after that, I bet you would gain some confidence and you would like to solve some difficult problems.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I wanted to ask, like, what is your favorite topic, and what is the most important topic for ICPC, and what is the most important topic for interviews?
Okay, so my favorite topic I would say is constructive algorithms, because in those problems you have to think of a lot of approaches, and sometimes the constructive algorithm problems are not that tough enough, but it takes time for people to think of different approaches, and for me I can it takes me less time as compared to as compared to my skills. I am quite better at constructive algorithms. And for ICPC, I would say, yeah, constructive algorithms is a topic that comes a lot nowadays, and it is a really important topic. But it is something that you can't learn. Other topics are something that you can learn. So that's why this is one of my favorite topics, because it is not something that you learn. It is something that you learn by practice rather than reading something else. And for interviews, I would suggest DP is one of the most important topics. Trees is also one of the most important topics. Other than that, simple topics like binary search and all are asked very few times. But DP and trees.
Constructive programming, in interviews, it's not asked much.
No, not at all. Like not even much. It is not at all asked, because in interviews only DSA is asked.
Yes, so my name is Divyansh. So the question that I want to ask is how to deal with the problems that require a lot of observation. Because sometimes it happens that a problem that you already know, you can solve, you know how different brain patterns you have already found. But for some problems, it's just a simple observation that you have to see to solve that problem. So how to deal with those problems?
That again is a thing of practice. For the it has happened with me. There was some keen observation in some problem, and I wasn't even able to recognize it for the first time. But when I got to know, yeah, something like this could be done, then it fits into my mind. Like now, if some other problems comes like this, it needs a bit of keen observation, then I could think of it at least. My mind can go in that direction. So it is all a part of practice. Like if you have solved some problems that require keen observation, after that if some similar problem comes, you can solve it. So the answer to every question is practice. Honestly, if you have any question in CP, the key is practice. If you have practiced enough, you would be able to do it.
Just a follow up on that. There is a notion of good practice and bad practice. So what according to you would be like good practice, and what are the different things that we should avoid while practicing?
Okay, let's compare practice to gym. If you all have a reference to gym, like if you already have a particular amount of strength and you keep on doing 2.5 kg weights, it won't be any good to you, right? And eventually your strength would decrease only. But if your strength is something like holding 7.5 kg dumbbells, then you can, if you practice holding 10 kg dumbbells, then it would increase your strength. Similar is practice. You can compare that to the rating of the problems. If you are a 1500 rated coder, practicing 800 won't do any good to you. it won't be any good to you. So the only thing that would increase your skills is practicing more than 1500 rated problems, like 1600, 1700, 1800. Don't even solve 1500 because you're already that good. Try solving 1600, 1700, 1800. And don't, bad practice is also solving much higher rated problems. Like if you are 1500 rated, don't solve 2000 rated problem. It would only like decrease your confidence. Same happens in gym, like if you don't have the strength and you're trying to pick up 15 kgs, like obviously you would rip off your arm. Nothing else would happen. So yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Hello sir, I am Samad. I want to ask, how can we get good with greedy questions?
Good with greedy questions. Do you know the basic meaning? Why are those questions called greedy? Sorry.
Yes sir.
Okay. So the greedy means obviously the first algorithm that comes to your mind. So I can't suggest any practice that could help you particularly help you solve greedy questions. But I can just suggest that try solving easier problems. Those are all greedy problems only. Try to solve those problems, and practice might help you recognize the problem. Like the answer to everything is practice only. If you have practiced enough, you would be able to see that it is a greedy problem only. And a lot of times, what helps is proof. You can try to find out mathematical proof, because a lot of time it happens now. Like you think that it might not be greedy. It might be something complex. So try to find proof. If you can prove that it is greedy, then you can easily solve it.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, what do you think will be the future of CP? Like Google has also stopped its contests like Kickstart, CodeJam, Hascode, and many people say that CP is dead. And this demotivates a lot while doing CP. Some people say that this is only waste of time. So,
It's not at all true that CP is dead. The only thing I can say is CP is growing much more. It is not at all dead. I know Google has stopped the competitions, but nowadays also you see the difficulty level of the coding rounds of the companies are increasing.